Hello everyone, my name is Loonflare. Welcome to my channel. This is my first ever video that I'm posting. I'm just showing you guys the process of my Jinx sketchbook spread. Now, I had kind of my own poses and things in mind here, and I use various different references, kind of like jigsaw references, which is kind of like my favorite way to work. I really like working from ideas I have in my imagination and then using referencing to bolster that, right? Of course, that does take a lot of practice and I'm still not perfect with it, but that's the way I like to work. So I started with just like a normal Papermate mechanical pencil, but honestly it doesn't really matter what pencil you use. I just use like a very basic pencil and I do some really rough sketching. Now I did this in a couple different sessions, the actual sketchbook pages, and as you'll see later on, I made a couple of mistakes that I ended up like at one point I put a straight up piece of paper on Jinx's face because I really didn't like the way it turned out, but that's okay. Sometimes happy accidents can be a thing, and sometimes you just need to be cool with covering some shit, you know? Like, you gotta trust yourself to be able to handle whatever mistakes happen, right? Especially when you're trying to be creative, because otherwise you'll never start. So I really wanted to push myself. I don't think I'd ever done like a full character spread like this before. I actually have another one in progress right now, but I haven't finished it even remotely yet, but Jinx is one of my favorite characters. Sorry for the tics. I have a vocal tic story about it. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. Her outfit is like really, like, it has a lot of really cool details that I actually never noticed before until I had to like draw her fully. But yeah, I had to try a lot of new materials for this spread, which was interesting. Like, I used my Ohuhu markers, which at the time of drawing this, I had used a little bit, but I was still kind of getting used to like how the material works, how it interacts with other materials. But I did have a lot of fun trying it out and, you know, just really pushing the layering and such, as I really wanted to get like a, you know, bit of a smooth, colorful feel to the page. I drew like 3 Jinxes and then a couple of side details for the spread. I will probably leave you guys for a little bit to watch the process, and then I will be back for some additional commentary. See you guys in a little bit. below again. So now that I have a sketch that I am remotely happy with, it is time to get the markers out. Now, I'll be honest, I was kind of scared. I think every artist is when they've got a sketch they like, because it could go either way. But I was like, you know what? It's cool. You gotta be cool with making mistakes, man. Otherwise, you're not gonna be able to like paint anything you really want to paint. And I could have just been like, hey, cool, this is a cool sketch page. And that would have been fine too. But that was not the intent I had. I wanted to actually practice my markers and, you know, give it a good go. So I definitely put in like the first like basic layers of the Hoo markers. And some of the colors were not quite what I had in mind. But that's fine. Because as I said, we're just putting in base colors. They layer pretty well. If you've got like a decent, you know, paper, I definitely would recommend having something underneath your paper, because even on good, you know, GSM paper types, it's going to bleed through somewhat. I believe even the special Ohuhu marker sketchbooks do have some bleed through, although it's obviously more minimal than a lot of other ones. But alcoholic markers be alcoholic markers, so you know, you can't expect the moon. But yeah, I basically just put in like the base colors, especially because it makes it a lot easier to redefine through the noise. And I use like a mix of, I think I also used some like white gel pen to like fix mistakes and stuff as I went along the way. Like I said, I try to very much just go with the flow and then just trust myself to fix anything that like doesn't quite fit what I wanted. There's a couple of like issues and things that I noticed. Well, another recommendation I have 100%, which I realized halfway through this spread, was if you're starting a drawing, especially when you're just starting, I would 100% recommend if you can get like a book stand or something of that nature, so that you can actually face your sketchbook, because you'll notice there is some like warping in certain like, especially things like faces, which are like really, you know, sensitive to these things. I would recommend you actually stand up your sketchbook so you can look at it head on, because you can minimize distortions from like having your sketchbook flat out on the desk. I noticed that a little bit into the sketchbook. I was like, why do these faces, you know, when you like flip them, I would like look through the sunlight. I would like hold my sketchbook up to the light and be like, huh. When I look at this like flipped, right, at the back of the sketchbook page, it doesn't look right. Why is this? And then when I started putting it on my book stand, I was like, oh, it's because I need to be looking at it like straight up. It's a lot easier with digital to just edit this shit, but when you're doing like traditional, you know, it's a lot harder to just like tweak some shit and like liquefy a face, you know. But you know. You work with what you have. As a whole, though, I'm like really happy with how this spread turned out. My least favorite Jinx is probably the one in the top left, but honestly, I'm like super happy with the other two, and I don't hate it, so it's cool. It's all good. I'd love to revisit this at some point in the future and like draw her again, and like kind of see how I've improved, especially with this particular medium. But for now, honestly, I think it turned out really great. So I'm pretty happy with that. I'm just going over the markers with some black fine liner. It's the Stabilo fine liners, but again, actually when it comes to fine lining, as you can see, I just switched to like a normal pen, which is just a basic ass biro. I find that whenever I'm lining stuff, I quite like the sort of loose and almost sketchy feel that a biro has. And I feel like I have a lot more control over line variety and pressure when I just use a regular ass pen. So I often end up starting with a Stabilo fine liner and then going in with pen for like the more like delicate lines, and then using the Stabilo again for like the darker areas that require like thicker lines. I'm honestly a huge fan of the Arcane franchise. I absolutely loved season 1, loved season 2. I'm like super excited for the new season to come out. Although I am gonna miss Jinx because she was like one of my favorite characters. But I still think it's, I think we're following Mel in the new one, aren't we? Generally, I'm like super excited about it. I also heard at some point they're like making an MMO, which I'm like super hyped about. I really, really can't wait for that to come out. Although apparently we're looking at like 2030. So, you know, Not anytime soon. But I think it's Noxus is the new season that's going to be coming out. And it's going to be focusing a lot on the Rose organization, which is very cool. And I'm pretty hyped for that. I'm sure it'll be fantastic. Don't get me wrong, like the writing and the animation and the stylization they use in those shows are fantastic anyway. So I'm not too worried about it. But yeah, I'm like super excited. But yeah, I will come back again once I have something meaningful to say again about what I'm doing. And I will see you guys in a little bit, okay? Bye! Hello again, it's me, Loon. So I would definitely say one of the things I struggle with a lot, like in this particular sketchbook page, is when to say it is finished. I could have gone all the way and filled in every nook and cranny, but I just couldn't really decide where I wanted to like call it. Because there is a part like where you've kind of finished the page and you could push it further if you wanted to, but you don't have to. And you're kind of, you feel like you want to be done with it, you know, but it still maybe could do with a little bit of something. And so I think I literally had to have my boyfriend tell me like, hey, listen, like it looks awesome. It's done. Like you don't need to line every single thing there and render every single thing there. If you feel done and the spread looks relatively done, you can just be done. That's okay. Like, it's cool. You know? Like, you're supposed to be having fun. This is your sketchbook. This is your creative space. Okay? You could literally just color it halfway and call it a day, and that should be fine. Now, I don't know if I can do that. I've got, my OCD is a work in progress. But, you can just be done. You can. And so, yeah, once I kind of hit this point, I was like, you know what? I'm good. I like it. I think it looks good. I think trying to push it any further at this point, like I'm just going to get diminished returns. So here we go. I hope you guys like it. If you enjoyed this video, please consider giving me a subscribe, like the video, and hit that bell if you want to be notified next time I post. I will see y'all in the next one. Bye bye.